Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to today's weekly HeyGen product demo. I'm excited to walk you all through a tour of the HeyGen platform. Before we jump into the demo, I'm going to kick things off with just a couple of slides to welcome everyone who's new to HeyGen, joining us for the first time. My goal here is to quickly orient you through the HeyGen platform, to walk you through what's possible, and then we'll jump into the product to take a look at how you can fulfill and create the stories that you're hoping to tell using HeyGen. So excited to kick things off. And if you're joining us from a stream, feel free to check us out at community.heygen.com. We'll take demo questions as we go through this demo, and I'll save some time at the end to answer them and address them specifically. So we'll talk a little bit about where you can submit them, but the agenda for today will cover what is HeyGen, what is HeyGen's enterprise product offering. We'll do a bit of a product overview, talking about the different areas of the HeyGen platform, and jump right into a product demo and then Q&A. So what is HeyGen? Let's start off there. HeyGen is the leading AI-powered video platform that helps businesses or creators translate, transform their content into videos faster and more reliably than ever before. So what this covers, one component is text-to-speech, where you can type in your script and have an avatar, either of yourself or one that you generate, present your message through a video format. So what HeyGen is really solving is basically the old way of producing a video would be scripting, casting, scouting, going through production, then post-production and editing. And then if you wanted to localize that content, you'd basically do that all over again and shoot it. Now with HeyGen, we're essentially simplifying this to go from your script to generating a video. And if you want to switch an actor, it's as simple as switching the avatar in your scene or your script. And why does this matter? This really simplifies how quickly businesses and individuals are able to create videos that help tell the stories that they're trying to. So what to keep in mind here is with AI video generation, it's leading to much faster video production that was previously possible through traditional methods. It's letting folks reach a global audience and really scale their production efforts much more cost effectively than was previously possible. So this is really where AI video generation comes in. Before I get too far ahead and start jumping into examples in the product demo, I wanted to just say, if you're joining us from our community, you'll see a Q&A component in the top right corner of the chat. Feel free to submit any questions there, and I'll go through them and answer them as we progress through this demo. Good morning again to everyone joining us, and please be sure to submit your questions as we go through this presentation, and I'll take some time to address them. So jumping into HeyGen's product overview, one of the first things folks do when they come into HeyGen is create their own custom avatar so that they can experience the magic of HeyGen and, see themselves telling stories in different languages than they were able to previously. So we'll jump right into that, and we'll actually even cover one of our newest avatar technologies, Avatar 4 today, which is one of the most lifelike, realistic experiences that we've been able to create so far. So we'll give you a quick look at what that entails. We'll talk about some of the updates to our AI editor. So in HeyGen's AI Studio, if you missed our keynote last week, I will kind of call out where to find the recap there. We covered some great new enhancements like gesture control, the ability to influence the emotions of a voice using Voice Director, and a lot of other great feature updates. We want to jump to all of them on this demo, but I'll be sure to call out a few as we go through this. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about translating videos with HeyGen and our interactive avatar technology, which is a little bit different from the rest of the platform in that it's a video experience that you can actually have a conversation with, chat with, engage with. So it's something quite unique to HeyGen's product offering. Before I get too far ahead, for those of you who are new, we have a lot of resources available at community.heygen.com. You can check out our HeyGen Academy 101, our resources. We offer different meetups, workshops, and we have a forum where we can answer questions and you can engage with other users who are also on their visual storytelling journey with HeyGen. So thousands of members active every week. Be sure to check out community.heygen.com to learn more and follow along on your AI video generation journey. So before I jump in, I wanted to just cover a couple of different avatar types that are possible to create on the HeyGen platform. Here you'll see a couple of different examples. The one we'll actually start off with today is our newest one, Avatar 4. So previously, if you were a user of HeyGen, you may be familiar with our hyper-realistic avatar. This is trained on about a 2-minute video recording. You will upload your consent, and we basically create an avatar model for you to use in your videos. We also had a custom photo avatar, which was previously trained on 10 to 15 different photos. This was, somewhat not necessary anymore with Avatar 4, where you can go from just one photo to a video, and it actually is quite expressive and realistic. So we'll jump into what that evolution looks like today as we jump into the platform demo. Finally, you can actually generate an avatar from prompts also, as you can see here on the far right example. So HeyGen offers a lot of different options when it comes to telling your story, and we're going to jump along to kind of talk about how you leverage these in different ways. So some of the different ways we're seeing customers and users leverage AI video generation in their content is, social media content, video ads, different sorts of marketing announcements like event invites and personalized videos. We've even seen folks try to create kind of AI SDR experiences on their website, connecting our interactive avatar technology to their own custom knowledge base. That, of course, requires a bit more technical configuration, so ability to work with APIs. We won't cover that too much on this specific demo, but we do have others that we host in the community on a regular basis that go through that in much more detail. So just to give you some ideas of the different use cases that folks are using HeyGen to explore, and I wanted to jump into a couple of customer examples before we take a tour of the product. So just to bring things home, Trivago, a travel company, is basically using HeyGen to localize their ads to be able to take them to new markets. So if they record an ad spot in English, they're able to quickly translate it into French, German, Italian, and really release this in other markets. So they've already localized some of their content for over 30 markets. They're saving over 3 to 4 months of actual time and cost, essentially, to be able to go and activate their assets more effectively using AI video translation. Sibelco's learning and development team transforms their global content strategy through HeyGen, using HeyGen to basically save down on their video educational content. So they're now saving about $1,000 per minute of video. And the real benefit here is, we know when a regulation compliance ordinance changes, they're able to go back to that asset, edit the script, generate again, and quickly, have updated content that's ready to go based off of evolving business needs. So really, really popular example we see with a lot of companies, even like Komatsu. We have another webinar with them in our community. Be sure to check it out to hear more about how those teams are benefiting from AI video generation. Finally, I wanted to talk about Tomorrow.io's example. They're basically scaling their marketing engine using their CMO, Dan, and they've created a studio avatar of him that they've been able to use in different spots and promotions. So really using this to ramp up their content production in a very cost-effective way and get a lot more engagement and reach than they would have previously been able to. So these are just a couple of examples that I thought would be fun to share for folks that are a little bit newer to the platform. With that, I'm ready to jump in, and we'll go ahead and move over to HeyGen. And if you're new and you haven't signed up already, you can go to heygen.com and sign up for free. We are going to be talking a little bit about some of the different aspects of the platform today, but when you log in, you'll start off on your dashboard. One of the first things folks often do is create a video, but today we're actually going to start with photo to video with Avatar 4. So this is one of the fastest ways to get started. You can either upload a photo or drag and drop one in from one of our preset examples. You can describe custom emotions also here. So this is one way that you can create kind of really engaging content very quickly. What I'm going to do is I went to ChatGPT. I created a very quick image from a prompt. We're going to use this image and we're going to make it come to life. So going to go ahead and upload the image that I just generated from ChatGPT. We're going to go ahead and use a custom script. So I'll just go ahead and use this random one. And then I will try out a new motion here. So let's say if we leave it blank, it'll automatically generate a motion. But here we'll say waving at the camera as they deliver the message. And then here you get a toggle that lets you choose how expressive it is, 720p or 1080p. Here for this demo, we'll use 1080p. We also let you customize and change out the voices. So you'll see some popular voices from the HeyGen library. I'm just going to go ahead and actually use the default one that's been selected here. You can choose portrait or landscape, depending on how you want the video to be cropped. For this example, since it's a little bit more conducive to a portrait, we're going to go ahead and use that and hit generate. So really, it's as easy as this. We'll give it just a couple of minutes to generate this video and come back and take a look at that example. But one of the fastest ways to bring yourself to life is to just take a photo that you may already have. I've done a previous one with my LinkedIn photo over here, and you can take a quick look to see just what that actually entails when you're playing it.
In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different.
So that is obviously not my voice. I'm using kind of another library voice that we have, but using the exact same script, I was able to take a photo of myself and bring it to life. This was without adding motion. So in just a second, when this loads, we're going to take another look to see what adding motion and gestures actually does, which is the latest update to Avatar 4 and something that's really differentiating us right now. So as that loads, we're going to talk about a couple of the different areas of the HeyGen platform. Let's say you want to create a video avatar. You can navigate over to the avatars tab. It's as easy as selecting, hyper realistic avatar. Here you'll see an option to generate or create it from photos as well. When you go through the process, you'll be prompted with some instructions to kind of progress through and then finally upload your consent. The whole process takes a couple of minutes, but you can basically train the video footage, and this input footage is actually pretty critical to the output quality of your avatar. A lot of folks, think that upgrading a plan will improve the avatar quality, but really this is the most critical step to unlock. And we have other guides and resources in our community that cover how to get the most out of filming your first custom avatar. But this step is, one of the big unlocks to really getting an avatar model that you want to use to create a lot of your videos. The other thing that I'll call out here is you'll notice that for some of the different avatars that I have in my account, you can have multiple different looks. So right now we allow you to have up to 300 different looks based off of an identity. So when I give consent for my avatar, that kind of creates one approved identity against which that I can create a lot of different looks. You can create some by prompting, as I've done here. I don't actually own this Warriors jersey, but I was able to create a couple of avatar looks of myself that actually have one. So that's one way you can do it. You can also upload different photos, different views to create different looks. So HeyGen gives you a lot of flexibility here when you want to come up with different ways to tell your story using the platform. And we make it really simple to make sure that you can kind of keep your content engaging and different varieties that you want to produce, so it doesn't always feel too repetitive or exactly the same. So you can have video looks, you can have photo looks. We give you a lot of flexibility here when you want to really bolster your identity for content creation. We also have a library of public avatars that you can choose from. So these are all professionally filmed. You'll see them labeled as expressive or AI generated, and we basically have them set up in a way that you can kind of get testing with HeyGen's platform without actually spending all the time filming yourself if you're not quite ready to do that today. So a lot of opportunities here. The other thing I'll just touch on very quickly is our AI voices. So you can create a new voice, or let's say you're already an 11 Labs Pro customer, you can bring in 11 Labs voice that you already have. So we support a couple different providers. All you have to do is really paste in your API key and select confirm, and then you'll be able to access your library of voices from 11 Labs to use here with HeyGen for your video. So some of our customers who really have dialed that in and want to leverage their voice, they're able to kind of do that and bring it in very easily for video generation. You can see here that I have a couple of different voices selected. Depending on, if you're creating a voice or if you're bringing in a third-party voice, you'll see you'll have different options available for the different emotions and tones for your voices. This comes in handy in just a second when we jump into the editor to control how different scenes of your video are actually delivered. But we'll talk really quickly about a couple more creation modalities. So templates is another place that I wanted to kind of quickly call out. This is a very powerful place in HeyGen's platform. As you can see here, I have a couple of different templates. Some are for event invites, some are for personalized videos, and you can see it's really simple to get started, but it's pretty powerful what you can do with HeyGen's API once you're set up in a good place. So you can see here I have some dynamic variables set up, both in the scene and then in the script. And the way this works is we are basically calling to HeyGen's API to generate these videos programmatically so that we can send them out at scale. And I'll show you just an example of what this looks like in a moment. So you can create a video, you can save it as a template, then you can have a library of custom templates that you can draw from, as you can see here. But you can also start from one of our templates that's already created and produced in HeyGen's template gallery. We'll let you find them by a couple of different tags, but you can always check out what's possible here, start with one of these, and even tweak it to your own needs and requirements. So a lot of flexibility that comes just from using templates or creating your own, particularly if you're creating a lot of content over time. So I want to talk a little bit about different ways you can get started when you're creating a video. Then we'll jump into the translation portion of the platform. And then finally, we'll touch on labs and the interactive avatar piece. So when you're just getting started, you can create a video from scratch, either landscape or portrait mode. But then we also give you a couple of options for getting started that can really accelerate this. Here you'll see an option to translate a video, either uploading one or pasting in a file for if it's publicly hosted. Here you can also get started with templates instead of starting directly in the template library. But the feature I wanted to kind of talk about today, we have a couple experimental ones that really help you get ahead of the blank canvas problem. But you can even, let's say, upload a deck of PowerPoint that you've already created for a presentation. So for example, I have the one we just went through for our product demo today. If I wanted to go ahead and upload this, you can see I've selected this option to auto-generate a script. Now, HeyGen will basically use the content of the slides to auto-create the script and the different scenes. So it takes about a second or two to kind of load and get processed, but once it does, it will actually jump you right into the AI studio, so that way you can start modifying or creating your video content. So as this loads, this will basically give me a set of scenes based on my slide and sample script that I can go in and edit, tweak to really get my message down. The other thing that I'm able to do as this loads is select an avatar to basically deliver this message. And here's a quick example of what that looks like. So this is taking kind of that demo script that we just looked at. And here you can see I'm now able to select an avatar. I'm going to go ahead and use any one of our stock avatars here and pull her in for this presentation. So here you can see when you drop an avatar in, you're able to select looks, replace the avatar, adjust different framing options. Let's say we want any in a circle view. It's really as easy as doing that. So HeyGen gives you a lot of flexibility as you're getting started. And in the AI studio, we actually give you options to really modify different components of this. So like, let's say we wanted the scene to fade in. We can introduce an animation there so that it fades in at the start of the video. So a lot of power behind the AI studio. The other things and features that I wanted to call out is we actually also allow you to upload your brand. So let's say you're producing a lot of videos, you're going to regularly use your logo, your colors, your fonts, maybe different images and videos. You can upload these all to a brand kit. And what this does is, lets you basically apply this to different scenes. So let's say I've created a new scene here. And if I want to apply the brand kit, I can simply just go ahead and hit shuffle colors or hit apply one specific color. So we give you some options to kind of quickly apply your brand for consistency through the different videos you want to create. So this is just one example of how you can get started very, very quickly with HeyGen with content that you may already have produced in a written format. So a couple other features that I wanted to call out here that were newly covered. One is we have this voice director mode. So we can kind of choose exactly how we want this voice to sound. So you'll see some preset prompts built in here to give you an example of how much context to really give HeyGen for how you want this scene to be delivered. So here we're going to choose excited. But before we do, we'll take a quick listen to what does this sound like before voice director and after. The other thing I wanted to call out is as you're working in HeyGen's AI Studio, the lip sync does not generate until you actually generate the video. So it's really just a preview, but you'll be able to hear the audio from this viewport essentially. So
in 2025, video generation is transforming rapidly, with major hubs like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Palo Alto, and Toronto leading the charge.
So that's just an example of what the voice sounds like. And this is just using Any's public voice, using the voice engine Panda settings. Now I want to make it more excited. So what I'll do is go ahead and apply this to this scene. And now you can see that the voice has actually changed here. Now it's Any public excited. Oh, I'm going to go back here and just play this again. Oh, something went off here. But what I'll do is I'll actually see if we can change this slightly. Let's say we want to actually control this much more granularly. We don't want to use just the prompt. The other feature that HeyGen lets you do is you can actually use voice mirroring to basically influence inflections as you're presenting them. So I can record this right now, and it will basically use my inflections overlaid on Any's voice to deliver this message. So we'll try this feature out. In 2025, video generation is transforming rapidly, with major hubs like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Palo Alto, and Toronto leading the charge. This shift is driven by increased consumer demand for video content as businesses leverage video marketing to enhance engagement and reach. The landscape's evolving, setting the stage for innovative video solutions. So with that, you've now recorded a voice mirror, and you can add your audio to this specific scene. So we'll see if this resolves the bug that I encountered so I don't have to refresh, but we'll give this just a second and see if I can show you the preview of this. So now with voice mirroring, I'll give this just a second.
In 2025, video generation is transforming rapidly, with major hubs like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Palo Alto, and Toronto leading the charge. This shift is driven by increased consumer demand for video content as businesses leverage video marketing to enhance engagement and reach. The landscape's evolving, setting the stage for innovative video solutions.
So you can see now that it's taking my inflections, my delivery, and overlaying that on top of Any's voice here. So this is a really powerful feature to really kind of control your delivery for precision when you're creating video content within HeyGen's platform. So a lot more that we could cover here, but for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of jump ahead quickly. A few key things that I wanted to call out. You can also add captions to your videos, and these will pull in from the script from your scene. So if you wanted to include them, it's as simple as selecting them. You can change colors, you can change the highlights, you can even change the caption style to apply them to all scenes. So it's really as simple as that. We have different elements that you can add in to help tell your story in a more effective way, whether it's shapes, frames, stickers, icons, and different media that you can pull from, including our integration with Getty. So you're able to kind of pull in different stock images, different video assets that really help you convey your message. You can even add music to different scenes. So if I wanted to HeyGen is very powerful. And what I wanted to show you next is how you can actually translate video content with HeyGen. Now, if we wanted to translate videos, there's a couple of different ways to get started. What I'm going to do now is actually real quick, we are going to take a look at that Avatar 4 video that got generated.
In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different.
So you can see that we're able to go from just a photo and turn it into a realistic video with gestures. We could spend more time on the voice to make this even more realistic. This is basically in a preview setting right now, but you can see the power of this new avatar video model that we've created here. So excited to be able to share that with you. Now, I wanted to jump into translation just to touch on a few of the features that are possible here. So you can choose a YouTube video if you'd like to get started more simply. You can upload a video you've already produced. Now, HeyGen gives you a few different options for translating. You can auto-detect the source language, and then you can pick what language you want to translate this into. We also support different locales and dialects. So here you can see some of the different options for Spanish with different accents that we can actually translate into. And it's as simple as that to get started. We do have more advanced controls. So let's say you want to apply your brand voice. Just like we have the brand kit for visual styling, we can also use a brand voice to get pronunciations, your brand glossary, specific business terms, or specific things that are important to your glossary pronounced a certain way as you translate your content. You can select your brand voice, then you can choose a couple of different options here if necessary to like remove background music, output to the original video specs, which I'm going to enable, or enable captions or enhance voice. You can experiment with some of these. Our plans come with unlimited video generation, so we make it really easy for you to kind of test out what gets you the highest quality output for your content. So I'm going to hit translate here, and it takes a bit of time to run, but what I've already done is, pre-generated a translated proofread. So one of the options you get when you've generated a translation is to create a proofread. So when you're in the proofread editor, what you're going to see is, different script scenes when they're translated may be too long or short. So when that happens, you can either make them longer by extending or adding to the content, or you can make them shorter. But HeyGen will essentially flag here when there's potential issues when you're translating content from language A to language B. So what I've done here for this demo, I wanted to show you just kind of a quick preview of what
to the video screen.
So we're going to take this Stanford commencement speech. I believe it was Reed Hastings.
And welcome to all the graduates.
So this is him in English. Now we can do a quick preview of him being translated into Portuguese.
Suas famílias, amigos, professores e funcionários, presidente, conselho, reitor, todos.
So it's basically cloning his voice. Now he's delivering the same message in Portuguese. And then when you hit generate, it'll actually make sure that the lip sync is aligned to the words as they're coming out. So very, very powerful feature that HeyGen lets folks translate their content and take it to new markets. If you're on our enterprise plan, we also come with a proofreader marketplace. So we really make it easier for brands to really scale their video content to new geos, new locales as they're looking to increase their market share. So that's what I wanted to touch upon for proofreading. A couple final things, and then I'll jump over to Q&A for any questions that have been getting submitted. Finally, I wanted to just call out our labs.heygen.com, where we actually have our interactive avatar technology. So when you go to labs.heygen.com, you'll be able to see kind of a library of interactive avatars. Unlike the previous portions of the demo, these are a little bit different. In our labs section, you can actually test them out and chat with them. So here, I'm going to chat with June and just show you a very, very quick demo. So when I'm chatting with June, you can connect to start a session with the interactive avatar. And now I can type in a question.
Hey, I'm June from HeyGen's HR team. We empower creativity through visual storytelling. I'm excited to hear about your tech.
So I just submitted a chat.
It seems like you're asking about the. It seems like there might be a misunderstanding. It seems like you're asking about. It seems like there might have been a misunderstanding.
And I wanted to kind of just give you a very quick preview of what's possible here. So with interactive avatars, you're able to kind of connect them to a knowledge base. We have a couple of example ones that are set up here, but this is a labs product, a little bit more experimental, but we're seeing a lot of folks come up with incredible use cases of how they can use this component of our video technology platform to really extend how they engage with their users, their customers around the world. So with that, I'm going to jump back to the HeyGen dashboard and answer any questions that have been submitted. So a few questions that are coming in. I'm going to get started from the very top. First is how to add avatar face expressions. So Gaurav submitted this question in the chat. Gaurav, there's a couple of different ways to do this. One is you can either use an expressive avatar where the audio actually controls how expressive the avatar is, or if you're creating a video avatar, a lot of this comes down to the initial video training input that you're using to create your first avatar. So we have a couple of community resources. I'll see if I can point them out to you right after this call, but there's a lot of flexibility and control that HeyGen offers when you want to basically deliver your video in different ways. So we covered voice director. We also actually offer gesture control. So when you're recording your avatar video footage, you can also record footage with different gestures like pointing, waving, things like that, and leverage those in different components of the videos and stories that you're trying to create. And then Edward had a question. So can I upload a video myself and have it create an avatar from that? Yes, absolutely, you can do that. So it takes about 2 minutes of recorded footage to create your hyper-realistic avatar. Alternatively, you can also get started with just a photo, similar to how we demonstrated with Avatar 4 today, but both are options for getting started. Finally, we have a question from Christian. Can you upload blog content? Yes, you can. You would want to basically save your blog content as a PDF file, and then you can upload your PDF to also generate a script and generate scenes from that same create video modal that we looked at earlier. So another question from Irma, is this recorded? Yes, this is recorded, and we'll have a recording hosted in our community, and we'll send out a copy to everyone that's registered. Next question from Guido. CEO wants us to create a professionally filmed avatar in our green screen studio. Is there any specific guidance we need to follow? Yes, Guido, we have a couple of reference guides in terms of how to get the highest quality recording for your avatar footage. Particularly if you're shooting in a studio setting, you may want to kind of explore, depending on what your needs are, either an agency plan or an enterprise plan with us. For our studio avatars, like some of the ones that I showed earlier, these are typically a little higher quality. We've shot them on a green screen. You can see that they're already matted and available for use in different scenes with the background essentially taken out here. So these are shot in 4K. These are our highest quality outputs. If you're trying to do something similar, you may want to kind of explore either an agency or an enterprise plan just to make sure that you can use a studio avatar for your outputs. So I'll answer just a couple more questions because I know we're about over time. Finally, question from Guido, consent text validation is not passed. If you're running into errors or issues as you're trying to create your avatar footage, I recommend reaching out, send an email to contact@heygen.com and engage with our support team. They're usually very quick to help unblock any bugs or issues that might have popped up with regards to kind of that consent moderation. So they'll be able to kind of help you out there based off of the error code and video ID if you can provide them with that. And then really wanted to answer a couple more. Is an avatar created using AI considered a custom avatar? Yes, this would be considered a custom avatar Raghuram. And then the pricing for enterprise plans, I won't go too deep into that today. You can reach out to our sales team, but I would say if you're just getting started, there's a lot of functionality that's not actually missing from a creator or team plan. Really, folks come to us for enterprise wanting security, custom legal terms, better controls. But if you're just hoping to kind of get a sense for what's possible with the platform, you won't find any restrictions really from our self-serve offerings to just get started and experience what's possible with the platform. And Queenie has a question, are all features free to use? All plans are not really restrictive of access. So you should be able to get a full test of HeyGen's platform. Free plans are limited in how much video you can create. With creator plans and team plans, there's slightly different limits, more on the duration of the videos, but otherwise the functionality should be very similar. So you should be able to get started out as you sign up for free. And as you're looking to ramp up your video creation, that's where you may want to start with a creator or a team plan, depending on how many folks are creating the videos with you. Next question is, let's see here. Where can I upload my PowerPoint? So Parin asks this, and essentially when you hit create video, we give you a couple of tabs here to either upload a PowerPoint or PDF to auto-generate script. You can also add speaker notes if you're using those in your PowerPoint to add them to each of the scenes. So this is another powerful option. As we looked at in the earlier demo, we also have another experimental one that's in beta. We'll have more details to share here as we're making some updates to this one, but this is another method you can use for taking your PDF and turning it into a video and auto-generating scenes. So I think that's covered most of the questions. One question from Jim, Avatar 4 is restricted to 60 seconds. Is that going to change anytime soon? Yes, Jim, I think we are excited to integrate Avatar 4 more deeply into our platform. So as we improve how that is processing, you're going to see us make more updates to make it easier for folks to access more of it. Today, given that it's very high cost to kind of produce a video from just that photo, We have it in limited preview access, but if you want more credits or if you need more time with it, we do make it now possible to kind of self-serve and add additional credits for folks who are using that to kind of create their stories. So that's all possible. You can reach out to contact@heygen.com as well, or we can basically help you to do those sort of add-ons to top on more Avatar 4 credits if you've exhausted your quota. Most plans come with some, and our paid plans also have them allocated, but if you kind of exceed the thresholds that are provided in the current offering, you're able to kind of self-serve adding on more pretty easily. Final question, and then I think we're going to call it a wrap for today. How much better will my avatar look and voice will be if I record myself versus in a professional studio? Igor, it actually makes a huge difference. So the initial training video input is really going to determine the quality of the output video you get from the avatar model. So really investing in getting the right footage is going to be critical to how you want to tell your story over time. So what I've found is a lot of folks get a lot of value out of even just the hyper realistic avatar, but it really comes down to getting the right video to train it on. The same is true for studio avatars. I've had customers that really love it because they enjoyed their expressions, how they've emoted, how they gesture in it. And then others that, it's not as much of a miss, but it really comes back down to how are you recording the video and how are you training it to create your avatar model. So I recommend starting with maybe one or two hyper realistic avatars just to get a sense of how that works for our creation modalities before you go to your studio setting. We also have separate studio avatar filming instructions and guides. So, really excited to see what you all create. Finally, before I wrap, I wanted to just say we have a lot more resources available in HeyGen's community at community.heygen.com. If you go over to our resources tab, you'll be able to find kind of our resource directory or HeyGen Academy 101, which covers a lot of great areas of getting started that we didn't go into too much depth here. We also have tutorials by some of our different use cases. So depending on what you're trying to do, we'll have a lot more offerings available here to help you through the process on your AI video generation journey. And final thing that I'll kind of call out is, if you're looking for more inspiration, we have, more customer stories from different brands that we partner with, talking about, how they're leveraging HeyGen for AI video generation at scale. You can also explore our agency directory. This is, where I like to go to see what is some of the highest quality content being produced using HeyGen. For example, Video Imagem here used HeyGen to send out personalized videos with a famous footballer or soccer player to an audience in Brazil. So you can see this whole video was generated using HeyGen avatars and voices, how realistic this can be. So this is just to give you a sense of really what's possible. A lot of folks, when they're getting started, may not be able to easily get to this level of output, but it's another great place to kind of understand who you can partner with to really unlock your storytelling needs. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm really excited to be able to walk you through the HeyGen platform. I hope to see you on the next one and hope you share your latest creations in our community. Thank you again for joining us.